everyone, thanks so much for stopping by at the Peppered Peach today. We're gonna be making something from Magnolia Cookbook Volume Number 1, which I've never made before, and I don't know why, and it's the souffled broccoli casserole. So this is right up my alley. I love broccoli, I love casseroles. This is it. So I'm excited to try it out. This sounds like something I could make maybe for Thanksgiving or for a dinner. We'll see, but let's make it first and then we'll make our judgment. So we have everything here. We have broccoli, we have mayo. Surprise, this does call for Swiss cheese, but I'm actually switching that to Gruyere. So let's get started. We have everything here. Let's souffle. All right, our first step is to blanch basically our broccoli. So I am going to take over this broccoli. This actually is 4 broccoli crowns. Not gonna lie, I actually bought them pre-cut. I was not loving the broccoli as is, and I thought this looked a lot better at the supermarket, so I bought these pre-cut. Not gonna lie, nice little change for me to not have to chop up the broccoli. But we're gonna send this over to the water. I have 2 inches of water ready to boil, and I have a tablespoon of kosher salt in there. As soon as that's boiling, I'm gonna drop that in there for a couple minutes, and then I have a big pot of cold iced water to throw it into after those couple minutes. So let's head over to the stove, wait for that to boil, and then we'll start blanching. All right, y'all, our water is boiling. I'm gonna add in our broccoli, and we're gonna let it, I thought it was gonna be only a couple minutes, but it's actually 10 minutes. So we're gonna let it sit for 10 minutes in the water, and then we're gonna pop it out, and we're gonna throw it right into this water. It's cold water. I'm gonna add some ice cubes to it. I already added ice cubes that they already melted. I was being too ambitious with preparing here, but we're gonna let this boil for 10 minutes, and we will come back and throw it in the cold water plunge. All right, so while our broccoli is currently on the stove, getting heated up in the water, we are going to take the time to chop up some of our onion. We only need about a half of this onion, and we're gonna chop 8 ounces of the cheese. So again, I'm using Gruyere. You can use, she calls for Swiss, but I'm just more of a Gruyere kind of lady. Hopefully that doesn't mess up anything, but this is a good cheese to melt, so I'm not worried. So let's grate it away. Should have gotten the pre-grated cheese, but that's fine. You know, we all make mistakes. Right. Okay, so our cheese is all set. I'm gonna put this off to the side. I'm gonna rinse my hands because they're all Gruyere-ish, and I am going to chop up some onion. All right, so now that we have our cheese ready, we have a couple minutes left with our broccoli going, so let's chop up some onion. She does say to grate it, but I'm just gonna just cut it real small. Real fast so I don't start crying. Sometimes I don't understand why recipes call for grated. Like, it just becomes one big onion mush. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel me? And sometimes I just would rather like have that little crunch in there. So this is the only change, is I'm chopping it as opposed to grating it. We have a couple, we have 1:26 left, people. Oops, that's too big, that's too big. Right. Right, couple more. I did take the bigger side of the onion, so I don't need all of this on the left. So we chop that. We will go until that timer goes. And then we're gonna take that broccoli off and we're actually gonna chop it up some. Okay, got 26 seconds left. Let's head over here. We have my cold water, still ice cold, and I am just going to start taking this out and throwing it directly into our cold bowl. I'm just using a slotted spoon, so I don't bring all the hot water with me. Okay. All right, now the rest of this in here is just like little clumps of broccoli pieces, but I think we're good. All right, I'm gonna move that over. I'm gonna let this cool down, I think, for a couple minutes, and then once it's ready to chop up and it's nice and I can touch it without, oh, I can touch it now. All right, give me a second. I'll prepare our little spot over there to start chopping up this broccoli. All right, so I drained our broccoli. It is ready. I am going to take, a lot of it actually kind of came down a little bit when it was, you know, it has like these nice little greasy hand of broccoli in my hand. But I am gonna take this over to our cutting board. We're gonna coarsely chop it. And then we are going to put this into the prepared pan that I have right here. So this actually does have some vegetable oil on the bottom. And we're gonna spread out our coarsely chopped broccoli on the bottom of this pan. And then we're gonna head over to the stove again to make a little bit of a sauce with our cream and our butter and our garlic powder and some flour. And then we start mixing it all together and then we throw it in the oven. All right, so let's get this down on the bottom. It already smells so good. I mean, I know it's just boiled broccoli, but I love broccoli, so. All right, broccoli done. I'm gonna wash my hands. We're gonna head over to the stove and start making some sauce. All right, so it's time to make our sauce. So I have the stove on. I'm gonna add in our butter, which is 1 whole stick. I'm gonna let that melt. Once that's melted, then we're gonna add our flour, whisk that together, then add the cream and the garlic powder. So let's do this. Now we wait for everything to melt. Okay, so our butter is melted. Let's add in our flour. And we are going to whisk this together. Let's see. We whisk it together. And then we whisk in the cream. All right, it's ready. Give this a couple minutes to thicken up. So So we're gonna add in a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of pepper, and a teaspoon of salted kosher salt. And then we're gonna whisk this together, and we just want this to become nice and thick, because then we're gonna throw this over our broccoli. This is definitely thick. I think we can call it a day for this. All right, we are gonna head over here. And now we are going to add in the onion. Yep, just making sure. Gonna add in the onion and the mayonnaise. Very interesting. Yes, remove from the heat and stir in. I'm just reading this I'm double checking this because, you know, weird. And now we're gonna stir this together. All right. Okay. So now I need to get my eggs, and we're going to mix that together. We're gonna whisk it first, and I think we incorporate it into this mixture. So let me grab my eggs and a bowl, and then we'll finish this up. All right, so we have our 6 eggs. I have my medium bowl, and I have my whisker. Let's go. All right. So let's whisk this together. And then we actually are going to take just a little bit of our mixture here, the hot mixture, and we're gonna temper the eggs. So she says to whisk constantly and add about 1/4 of a cup of this mixture to temp into the eggs. So let me get a little scooper here. Let's take this, throw it in. Sorry. Okay. All right, and now we're gonna pour them in here and whisk away. All right, just like that, y'all. It is time to put this on top. It's looking good. All right, we get the rest of this in here. I'll spread it around if I need to. Yeah, get a little, make sure it's all covered. Then that cheese that we grated earlier, we're gonna throw right on top. And we are going to pop this in the oven. The oven's been preheated to 375. We're gonna throw this in the oven for 35 minutes, and then we're gonna eat it. See you in 35. All right, y'all, it is time to try our souffled broccoli casserole. It smells really good, so let's see how this came out. I guess, you know what, to be honest, I didn't know what to expect when it went in the oven, but it really did come out like souffle-ish. So, she wasn't lying. Okay, let's try. Okay. I'm not mad at this. I could probably, let me take another bite to make, before I make this next statement. Hang on, hang on. Okay, so this is really good. I really like it. I was gonna say it needs a little salt, but I need to grab more of the cheese on the top to make sure I get that little salt in there. So this is super good. It's definitely something that I would make. I don't know if I'd make it for Thanksgiving because I didn't realize that it'd be so souffle-y, and I don't want people to get stuffed on casserole like this, but this is super tasty. Definitely a repeat for me. I don't know if Lewis is gonna like it, I'm not gonna lie. He can't hear me right now, but I'm gonna make him try a bite of it. He's not a big fan of baked eggs, but this is good. And it's definitely something that I will have in rotation when I have folks over if I need to bring a dish. But this is something that you need to eat immediately within like 5 or 10 minutes after bringing it out of the oven. So keep that in mind if you're throwing a party, if you have something that you're having guests over. It's super easy to make, as you saw, and it is very tasty. So if you do make this at home, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'll catch you next time. See what I did there? See what I did there? It's okay, Bark. We all make mistakes, okay? We're humans. Pour the warmed eggs into the saucepan and whisk to continue. To combine. So, okay.